In a so-called executive order, the mayor of a Massachusetts city says he's renaming this bay.
It's done. I issued the executive order. It's done. As my post indicated, we thank Google Maps for adopting it.
In a now viral post, he says he got the idea from President Trump, who of course renamed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
We're thinking maybe of annexing the old Hingham shipyard and bringing it back to life and building ships again, big, beautiful ships.
In neighboring Hingham, the residents say they enjoyed the joke, but they are not budging on the bay.
It doesn't sound like a very good plan. I don't think that I would agree with that idea, no.
What's it called now?
The Hingham Bay.
The Hingham Bay. It should stay that way.
The JFK Library and Museum is back open here in Boston. It abruptly closed on Tuesday after the director, Alan Price, says they received word from the federal government that they had to do an immediate reduction in force involving 5 probationary federal employees.
Certainly it was sudden, and they were amazing employees, and we're going to miss them. Staff that remain are grieving and surprised by it all, but still very proud of the work we do and looking forward to carrying the mission forward.
The director says the 5 employees who had worked here less than a year primarily worked in the ticketing area. Because of that, the library and museum will be free to all patrons until they're able to cross-train the other employees on the ticketing system. Many of the people visiting today say they wanted to come visit the library and museum after they heard about the temporary shutdown. The director telling us he is looking into whether he'll be able to rehire those 5 employees. Potholes have popped up, or rather sunken into roads in and around Boston. In Cambridge, the city's superintendent of streets, TJ Shea, says this year they're taking a proactive approach with repairs.
We've been taking sections of the city and having our crews drive down every single street, marking off the streets so we make sure we go down them and address any defects that we see before it becomes a larger pothole problem.
Even a hole this size, depending on how you hit it with your car, can cause considerable damage.
Rack and pinion labor and an alignment, unfortunately, it's about $1,800.
MassDOT says drivers whose cars are damaged by potholes can make a compensation claim to the city or town where it happened, so long as it's filed within 30 days. Robert Goulston, GBH News, 89.7. Just like your vehicle, when you leave it unlocked and your belongings in plain sight, like your computer and phone, they're more likely to be stolen. One great way to make sure you're the only one getting into your package, consider having your package delivered to a locked location so you can pick it up at your convenience. The mock trial training begins with writing mock police reports. They learn to include as many details as possible, which is critical when they get into the courtroom. One potential issue is car doors opening into bike lanes. When you do get out of your car, make sure it's clear. The Cambridge Police Department has added a co-response team.
BH1 in control. We're in service for calls. We'll get to that.
A clinician rides with a dedicated police officer in our Family and Social Justice section to respond to mental health calls that CPD would normally be dispatched to.
It was a well-being check. They got here. Her bedroom door was locked. They kept on knocking. Nobody answered the door, so they called the police.
He'll assess the situation once we arrive and then give me the okay to come in.
The goal of co-response is to be able to respond in the moment on the street.
Co-response furthers the work of the clinical support unit under the direction of CPD psychologist Dr. Jamie Barrett.
We're looking to build an integrated model that works from when the call first comes in to emergency communications to the dispatch with co-response on the street to the follow-up with clinical support.
We're here right now, and let's figure out what we can do right now in this moment.
Our Family and Social Justice section police officer is teamed up with a North Suffolk Community Services clinician.
I'm the social worker, and he's the officer.
So they can focus on calls requiring mental health assistance.
When you're on patrol, you have a limited amount of time because you go from call to call to call. We can spend 10 minutes or 8 hours with somebody, and our goal is to basically assist them in any way.
It's definitely a different type of dynamic, and I think it's really, really helpful.
And our goal is always to deflect and divert our vulnerable populations from deeper involvement in the criminal legal system.
In Cambridge, Robert Goulston for the Cambridge Police Department. Officer Matt Brown is in our traffic enforcement unit.
T6 to base, gentleman rolled through the red light.
On this traffic stop,
How are we doing, sir?
He's helping Ethan Robertson, an MIT computer science and finance student, understand the process.
That plate is going to be associated with the vehicle and the registered owner.
Ethan is researching how to engineer an app that would allow remote motor vehicle stops,
where the driver and officer will be connected digitally, and they'll be able to communicate through either video, text, or voice chat.
Officer Brown explains why that initial in-person interaction can help an officer identify a potential issue.
That face-to-face conversation kind of lets you see, are his answers fluid? Do they make sense? Is he very nervous?
This driver has mass plates, but their license is from another state.
So the computer thinks that this gentleman either doesn't have a license or it's not on file. I'm going to have to take my eyes off of him to enter this information so that I can verify that he's okay.
Ethan says this time on the street will help his team create the right technology.
Safer, more efficient, and faster on both ends of the traffic stop.
In Cambridge,
It's a warning, but please be careful.
Robert Goulston for the Cambridge Police Department. In this demonstration for the Police Youth Academy, the Explosive Disposable Ordnance Unit, or EOD, disarms a potential bomb.
The end cap will flip off, the pipe will flip, empty the contents, and now you no longer have a pipe bomb.
EOD's primary mission is to ensure resident safety. They undergo specialized training with the FBI to be able to handle, transport, and assess suspicious devices.
You want to take it nice and slow in certain places if you're in a tight area.
Our bomb technicians conduct sweeps for public events like festivals, commencements, and dignitary visits, not only in Cambridge, but throughout the region.
I didn't know they used robots.
I didn't really know that they could take x-rays. That was new.
If you look at right here.
The Youth Academy students also learned about police work more broadly.
It's been good to meet all these people, meet some officers, learn a little bit about police work. It makes them seem more human.
I see a good potential future, and the police helps me get a head start.
In Cambridge, Robert Goulston for the Cambridge Police Department. Harvard Square in Cambridge,
a lot of history here,
has its own unique personality.
Oh, you sir? Good to see you.
Cambridge Police Department's Harvard Square Central Square unit has spent a long time.
You're in a bike lane, there's no stopping, okay?
Getting to know it.
Thank you. Vital to have familiar faces in the business districts, in the neighborhoods.
Building friendships with people, getting to know people's names, getting to know who they are, a little bit about them.
Who benefits? Everybody benefits. Everybody.
Denise Gilson runs the Harvard Square Business Association and works closely with this team.
They are an essential part of the fabric of this community.
Gilson says the public benefits from the CPD's collaboration with businesses, the university, and residents.
We try to address the minor issues proactively so that way we can avoid the larger issues in the community.
We can call 24/7, 365, and we know that somebody's going to pick up.
Hello.
And these growing relationships.
When you have business owners and residents in the area that know the officers, it encourages open communication and really fosters trust.
Are helping CPD serve, support, and protect the community.
Yeah, looks nice.
In Cambridge.
It's your color.
Robert Goulston for the Cambridge Police Department. At the Cambridge Northeastern Police Academy,
1, 2.
student officers train how to identify
You're going to stare at your foot and count 1001.
an impaired driver.
12, 1000. 13, 1000.
This is as realistic as you can get.
So real, the volunteers helping in the training
Breath in, make a seal, blow out, go, 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 go.
are really intoxicated.
Ideally, we're bringing them to a level that they have enough alcohol in the system that they shouldn't be driving, but it's also challenging to see that.
We want to make sure that the student officers, when they're able to hit the street, they're able to identify drivers that are a danger on the roadway.
This test, called
horizontal gaze nystagmus,
is only effective when blood alcohol content is over the 0.08 legal limit.
the person will actually have jerking of their eyes. It's completely involuntary.
Some of these tests do not detect marijuana use, but officers learn other ways to assess that impairment.
It can affect your balance, affect your memory, coordination skills.
Just kind of want to incorporate as much real-life training as possible in an academy environment so that when they do hit the streets, they've already encountered many of these situations and are able to understand how to react.
In Cambridge, Robert Goulston for the Cambridge Police Department. The Police Executive Research Forum, known as PERF, has released its independent review of the January 2023 fatal officer-involved shooting.
We owe it to our community to really, if there's a loss of life, to really pick this apart and figure out how do we prevent something like this. Even if we did everything right, we never want to lose a life. That is never the outcome that we want when we respond to a call for a person who's in crisis.
PERF is a nationally recognized expert in the field of police administration. PERF found CPD's policies to be strong, but there were opportunities to strengthen them with some modifications. For example, assuring all best practices at CPD are specifically referenced in the written policy.
They highlighted that we are really good at communicating with people in crisis, but in our policy, it doesn't list communication as one of the critical pieces to diffuse a person who's in crisis.
As part of our ongoing transparency, the PERF report is being made public, and the community is encouraged to read the review and all of the information in its entirety.
These are fast-moving situations. We always want to improve. We always want to do better and learn from past instances, and that's what I'm hoping we can get out of this report.
The department will thoroughly review all PERF's recommendations and work with our officers, the city manager, the city council, partners, and the community to determine what measures would be the most effective.
I want to be that police department that people say, I trust the Cambridge Police. I will go to them. Whatever your background is, that you feel safe coming to us and that you feel we would respond appropriately. That's my goal.
In Cambridge, Robert Goulston for the Cambridge Police Department.